Todd Family YouTube video, wherever you are, whatever you may be doing. Thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. I wanted to jump on here live on this Thursday night. Of course, we have two college football games going on right now and one NFL game. I was excited about Boston College and Virginia Tech, thinking it would be a good game, and it may end up being a good game, but so far it's been almost all Hokies. If you just see the score, you would think that they've dominated, but they went up 7-0, and Boston College got the ball and got to their own 45-yard line and then fumbled. And then the Hokies scored. And then Boston College got the ball again, drove down to the Hokies' 6-yard line, and then fumbled again. So Boston College is moving the ball, but the whole entire team has butter on their fingers. So right now, that's why it looks like, with the score being what it is, that it's all Hokies. But I wanted to talk some college basketball. Of course, we had some big college basketball news come out this afternoon around 5 o'clock on the East Coast. But I had already decided that I wanted to talk college basketball today, even before that big news came out, which I'll talk about that big news coming up here in a couple of minutes. But I figure since the start of the season is a little less than 3 weeks away, and the AP poll came out this past Monday, so I figured, hey, I'm going to talk some college basketball this week. But the Kansas Jayhawks are the number one team in America according to the AP poll, followed by Alabama, UConn, Houston, and the Iowa State Cyclone. So Iowa State's now top 10 in football and top 5 in basketball. Gonzaga, number 6. Duke, Baylor, North Carolina, and Arizona rounds out the top 10. Then we have Auburn, Tennessee, Texas A&M, Purdue, and the Creighton Blue Jays round out the top 15. Arkansas, Indiana, Marquette, Texas, and Cincinnati, 16 through 20. Then Florida, UCLA, Kentucky, Ole Miss, and the Rutgers Scarlet Knight round out the top 25. Hey, I'm hoping that's pronounced Gail. If not, I apologize. But Gail, I will give you a shout out. Thank you so much for watching the channel. If you have not subscribed, please do so while you're here. Give the video a like and a thumbs up. And as soon as I am done, please feel free to share the video on all social media platforms. Sofa King, glad to have you here as well. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Kentucky, who's 23rd in this poll, and Arkansas, who is 16th. If you recall, John Calipari left Kentucky to go be the new head coach at Arkansas. Hey, Marcus, glad to have you here. And I've got a good buddy of mine that is a huge Kentucky fan. He's from the area, and he really, truly has complained about the last 5 years, saying that it's time for Calipari to go because he had gotten complacent. He pretty much knew that even though Kentucky had not done anything in basketball in about 10 years, which is strange for Kentucky, he done figured out that with the contract he had, as long as he reached the tournament every year and put players in the NBA and made Kentucky look good, that he was fine. So Kentucky has gone from a blue blood in basketball to nothing because they very rarely even win a game in March Madness anymore. It's pretty much they go one and they're done. And Calipari always seemed like he was okay with it because he had NBA talent. And I told this buddy of mine a couple of weeks ago, I said, you watch, Calipari will leave and go to Arkansas, and his first year there, Arkansas will go to the Sweet 16. Now, of course, I was just talking. I didn't mean that, but it will be funny if that does happen. It'll be strange to see if he goes to Arkansas and has that same mindset he had at Kentucky and says, well, it's Arkansas. As long as I reach the tournament, they're not going to fire me. Or will he actually go out there and try to make the Sweet 16, Elite 8, or anything like that? And I think Kentucky hired a good coach. I just don't know if he's going to win right away, but I do think he's actually a good coach. But Clemson, after having a Elite 8 season, and in my personal opinion, they're going to be just as good this year as they were last year, if not better. I'm surprised that they're not ranked at least 24, 25, but it's okay. It doesn't matter. It's the preseason poll, so it doesn't matter, but I did think they'd at least be 24, 25 since they made the Elite 8 last season, and I think they're going to be just as good, if not better, this season. But if by some chance you have not turned on the radio or the TV anytime this afternoon or into the early evening, Tony Bennett announced he is retiring from Virginia. There's supposed to be a press conference tomorrow morning in Charlottesville at 11 o'clock Eastern Time where he actually announces his retirement. He's only 55, so he is not old. Now, of course, a lot of times we see coaches in all sports retire at this age, and they're gone for good. And then sometimes they retire and they're gone 3, 4 years, and then they're back. But Tony Bennett has won 364 games at Virginia, which is the most ever at that school. Of course, won national championship, but it seems like just about every year they made the tournament and they were either one of the Final Four teams or they're out in the first round. I mean, there was hardly ever an in between, but he ran the most boring offense you've ever seen. I mean, he would have been happy if Virginia won every game in basketball 45-40. He didn't care. It was a slow-paced game, all about defense, but that was his niche. That was his thing, and it worked. But he's 55, but you got to remember, his daddy was a coach, and then Tony Bennett grew up playing basketball, and then sitting either on the sidelines or in the stands when his daddy coached. And then he played in the NBA, and then as soon as he retired, he started coaching. So he's basically been around the game his entire life. So he may have just said, you know what? I've done this long enough. I'm ready to spend time with family. I'm done. Now, of course, over the next couple of weeks, you're going to hear all kinds of rumors as to why he's retiring. In reality, nobody knows except God and Tony and probably his wife. But he might have just woke up and said, you know what? I'm done. It's just strange to see it now because he signed an extension during the summer to keep him there through at least 2030, which would be 6 more seasons since the regular season doesn't end until late February, early March. So basically at least 6 more seasons. And then he come back out and has gone through all the practices, all the warm-ups, all the drills, and then just about time for the season, and he says, I'm done. So it's bad for Virginia because now you don't really have time to go on an extended coaching search because it's time for the season. So I don't know if there is something wrong or if Tony just said, you know what, I've been around this game long enough. I talked about Adrian Wojnarowski a couple of weeks ago leaving ESPN and coming out saying, you know what, at my age, I realized doing this job takes a lot of energy and a lot of effort that I just no longer want to use, so I'm going to retire. And that may be the same thing Tony Bennett said. He may have, woke up today and said, you know what, this job is pretty much a year-round job between watching film, going to practice, talking to players, following recruiting, recruiting players, wake up the next day and do it all over again. I've heard coaches before say that, you're in your office 18, 19 hours a day during the season. Sometimes you're in your office that long in the off season. So Tony may have just woke up and said, you know what? I just don't want to do this anymore. And if that's the case, props to him, because I would rather him say that and just realize he's lost his fire, he's lost his passion, he's lost his want to, he's lost his heart, and go to the house now than realize he's lost his want to, he's lost his passion, but still coach. And then come January, everybody's saying, what's wrong with Virginia? And the only thing wrong is their coach just doesn't want to coach anymore. So if he just realized that he no longer has the heart, no longer has the passion, and that's his reason, I give him props. But any thoughts on any of this, please feel free to let me know, and I appreciate all of you that left a comment. I always enjoy reading your comments. Hard to believe that college basketball is right around the corner. The NBA is also right around the corner. Of course, NHL just started, and now we're in Major League Baseball in the National League Championship Series and the American League Championship Series. NASCAR only has 4 more races left before their season's over with. We're right smack dab in the middle of the NFL season. So this is probably the best time of the year if you're a sports fan. Now, of course, if you just like one sport, it doesn't matter, but a lot of people like just sports in general. Now you've got Major League Baseball playoffs, you've got NASCAR playoffs. We're right in the middle of the college football season, right in the middle of the NFL season. NHL just started. Pretty much, it's a great time of the year to be a sports fan. And of course, some people only follow one sport, but I know a lot of people, including myself, that just like sports in general. Now, I've settled down some and calmed down some since I got married and had kids, but back in my late teen, early 20 days, all I did was eat, sleep, and breathe sports all day long. I would go to bed, listen to sports talk, wake up, listen to sports talk, go to work, listen to sports talk, and then when I was home, I was either watching sports or watching shows about sports. But it's hard to do that when you have 3 small kids. But I know a lot of people that are still that way. And if you're one of those people, you're living this time of the year. College basketball right around the corner, NBA right around the corner, NHL just started, college football going on, NFL going on, 4 races left in the NASCAR season, Major League Baseball playoffs. Great time of the year to be a sports fan. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. There was a break-in at the Apple store. People are looking for the eyewitness. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.